Hello, my loves. How are you? Welcome back to week 4, the last class in week 4, goal setting, failure, wabi sabi style. So, guys, today I'm going to teach you my favorite way to set goals for my personal life, for my business life, for myself. Really, really practical, really nice homework assignment I have for you. I know you're all entrepreneurs in here in one way or another, so this is going to blow your mind in how to do business. But real quick, I want to talk about wabi sabi and failing, those big mission goals. Did you guys think of some? How about thinking of all the ways that we are just bound to fail in our lives? And next week, we're going to get really into flow, resiliency. But today, I want to talk about a concept that an author I absolutely love, whose work I'm going to share with you next week a lot when we go into flow research. Name is Stephen Kotler, and he talks about setting goals in 2 ways. Impossible goals. The first way is big I, impossible. And the second way is little I, impossible. So, what he means by impossible goals is that they're big mission goals for the big I goals. So, they're lifetime goals, right? Martin Luther King, remember I asked you to think how long after his death is his lifetime goal still coming to fruition today? How many failures did he see? How much did he witness where there was still so much room for his goal to grow, and yet he showed up? Resiliency, big I mission goals. When you have a big life mission, passion, purpose inspired goal, you are ready to face challenges. You are ready to continue to work on projects, even though you might not see them radically create change and come to fruition in your own life. The little I's, though, are extremely important too, because we can dream big and have all these ideas on how we want to change the world. But if Martin Luther King never showed up for small engagements during the day, met people, had lunches, had conversations, if he never was a pastor, if he never established and created the relationships that he did and did the work along the way, which so much of, I'm sure, was not easy, then no one would ever ask him to give that iconic speech, right? We think of people in their greatest moments, but it's these small little I goals every single day that we need our grit, our resiliency to dig into. And so when you start building your smaller goals, especially in your life, in your business, based on these bigger mission goals, they kind of turn into your fuel when the going gets tough. So I want to do this with teaching you guys through examples. So I'll just give you 3 of mine, like 3 of my big mission goals. And I wrote them down here, so I'll be reading. But number 1, help people by teaching them and showing them the emotional process of radical self love. 2, redesign the way that we teach our children on a mass global scale to include EQ, emotional quotient, emotional work, that's somatic work, and godliness into daily school lessons. And then use my voice to create a massive, positive, radical shift in society towards inclusivity, diversity, love, compassion, abundance, and ultimate human potential. Big I goals, man. Those will keep me driving with new projects, new things to do for the rest of my life. It's projects that I'll need to work with others on. It's stuff that I'll probably never fully and totally complete. But they are big goals that will fuel me and inspire me and give me new ideas and keep me driven and creative throughout my life. They're my North Star, my why. However, I've had those goals before for a really long time. I just never did anything about them. And then I would feel really frustrated, beating up on myself, because ultimately, when we have a passion and we don't work towards it, there's a little knowing, a calling, a voice deep down inside of us, a voice in our head and in our minds and in our souls that say, hey, isn't there more that you could do? Don't you want to do more? So finally, ultimately, I start listening. What can I do? How can I do more? And I realized that for someone like me who's a complete free spirit, I actually needed small, measurable goals along the way, those small I's. I started thinking about my life in 3 to 5 to 10 year plans. And, it's interesting. This weekend, I was watching The Matrix, and this made so much sense to me. Like, it's so amazing when people can map out their lives for the next 3, 5 to 10 years. Like, let's say you're going to college to become a doctor, right? You basically know your roadmap for the next 10 years. I mean, yes, there will be shifts and tweaks, but basically it's this much studying, this much residency until you're out on your own practice, this much until you really get free reign, right? Some people can map that out. For me, I had no clue. And I was watching The Matrix, and one of the conversations that the Oracle has with Neo, and it blows my mind now that I'm a life coach, The Matrix has like, I should do a whole class on the symbolism behind the Matrix. But the Oracle says to Leo, you can only see as far as the choices that you understand. So sometimes in life, we have these visions, these premonitions. We want to set goals, we want to accomplish something, and we can only see or have that premonition as far as what we understand. And it just blew my mind, right? So for me, sometimes a 10-year plan is way too much. I don't know where I want to be in 10 years, but I can have these big mission goals where it's like, oh, even in 10 years, if I'm doing those three things, if I'm helping kids develop new school programs, if I'm helping people express their radical self love and learn emotional intelligence and how to take care of their emotional bodies, I'll be satisfied, right? No matter how that looks. And so when I work with clients, I love to work with clients for a year because for myself, I found it so reasonable to do this process, especially looking at yourself, at your business, at something 1 year at a time, especially if you've never done any kind of goal setting, any kind of business goal setting. It might be a stretch to go to 3 to 5 years. We might not know, we might not understand our next steps, right? But the most important part is to have small, actionable steps, those daily small I's along the way. So, next week, as we talk about flow and resiliency, you'll see how important it is to check in consistently with your big I's to see how your small I's are getting you by. But first and foremost, you really need to know how to set a framework for those small I's. And that's what I'm going to teach you today. Those small I's can start to get nitty gritty, y'all. We're going to talk about numbers. We're going to talk about specifics. We're going to talk about measurements. And when we do that, that's when our emotions really start to be like, wait, what do you mean? I have to set a measurable goal? I don't know if I can do this, right? It's actually kind of fun to stay in la la land. I just want to have 3 new clients eventually sometime. It gives us no like action, no trigger. Sometime, tomorrow, the next day, the next day. So this really is a really amazing framework. And just remember that when you set small I's based on your big I overall, and you associate that with your why, with your North Star, with your life mission, with your purpose, that is going to give you the fuel to get into authenticity for yourself, knowing that even those small menial tasks along the way help you serve your purpose. Like a big one for me right now is tax season. As an entrepreneur, taxes suck. You have to, there's like a lot of things you got to put in and you got to keep track of stuff all the time. And I've got, yeah, there's a lot going on over here in the tax household myself. And I got to get it all together because I've got a month left, right? I love paying my taxes because it's on my to-do list because it allows me to be an entrepreneur. It's part of being an entrepreneur. It's associated to the bigger why. I pay my taxes and I do it this way so that I have more opportunity to work with more people from all walks of life. I'm excited to work for myself because it's empowering and it gives me the ability to use my voice, right? Even paying my taxes becomes like a mission goal in the small I day to day. And it becomes part of my bigger impossible goal. And so when we're looking at today, just know we're going to get into some goal setting basics. But y'all, this work is, it can be nitty gritty or it can be so much fun if you really see why you're doing it. and what it allows you to do and who it allows you to be. And next week, when we discuss flow, grit, resiliency, you're going to check back in on this and be like, oh, that makes sense. Why? In order to thrive in life, in order to maximize my potential, whether you're totally ADD brain and don't like to sit for 4 hours more than once still in a day, or whether you are so focused, love your to-do list, are total type A, goal setting in a specific measurable way is the key to evolution and to personal growth within yourself, within your business, and to progress, to evaluation, to awareness within where you are, where you're going. So enough of the pre-class. Here's the actual stuff that I promised you. SMART goals, y'all. What are SMART goals? SMART, S, specific, M, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. SMART. So again, the goals are specific, they're measurable, they're achievable, they're relevant, they're time-bound. I'm going to introduce you to a system that I use for myself, for my business, called OKRs. O, K, and the letter R. And it stands for Objectives and Key Results. The system was originally created by Andy Grove and then grew in popularity when John Doerr, who was one of the original investors in Google and has worked on a lot of big company investments and projects and thought leadership behind how those companies are operated and ran, introduced this concept to Google. Today, OKRs are used by companies like Google, LinkedIn, Twitter, Dropbox, Spotify, Airbnb, Uber, etc. Big guys. My favorite company, where I learned the system, is called Mind Valley, which is one of the most amazing personal development companies. I can link that down below today's class. Check out mindvalley.com. This is where I originally learned about OKRs. I absolutely love it. They use it inside, so you can start this process with yourself, and then in your business, and then as your business grows, you can start to implement this with your teams. Everybody always knows that they're on the same page. We all know that we're working for the same result, and it aligns with our values. So the O in OKRs, the objective, is what do I want to have accomplished already? Or I'm sorry, what do I want to have accomplished? Like, when I set this goal, what is it that I'm looking to accomplish? As well, the R, which is the key result, is how am I going to get it done? These things, y'all, have to be measurable. So I'm going to show y'all a quickie article that I was just reading. And then I've got some forms for you too. Let's see. Pardon me. You know what? Scratch that. I apologize for taking up your time on this. I will not show you an article. I'm just going to teach you. So the goal is not just what you want to achieve, but you have to have a way, a measurable way of achieving that. So what this helps you do is stay on track, stay fast or slow paced, whatever you enjoy, but it works towards your abilities and your intention on how you want to move with your goals. And it helps you continue to stay innovative. And I'll give you a little mind hack at the very end of this that you're absolutely going to love and hate me for. Okay, so doing that, what you're going to do is basically set, and I like to set absolutely no more than 3 at any given time, point, place, objectives. They can be big overall objectives in your life, like the one that I just had, right? And my 3 life mission goals. They can be objectives, like 3 of them for the year in your business. And then for each one, you're going to set 3 measurable key results. So let's break this down. I'll give you guys some examples. So for me personally, like my first objective was to, how did I word it? Help people by teaching and showing them the emotional process of radical self-love. That's great. It's vague, it's big, it's bold, it's a beautiful life goal. How am I going to do that? Key results, measurable, time bound. What was the other one for SMART? They're achievable and relevant. So for the year, I have a goal to create 15 new one-on-one clients in my business for coaching, one-on-one year-long packages, right? So clients that I'll consistently work with to show them how to increase radical self-love. I have another goal to create 100 people participating in Integrate this workshop throughout the course of 2021. Again, it's measurable, it's time bound, it's this year, it's a certain amount of people, it's a certain program that I'm going to be running. And number 3, the key result, I'll know if I've done this goal, is if I do 10 speeches on radical self-love as a topic. Virtual, in person, different audiences, but if I talk about radical self-love. So you see how I took a bigger objective for myself in my life and then made it really relevant to my business, to myself, things that I want to do this year, and specifically measurable. So if I get 10 out of 15 clients by the end of the year, I have something to evaluate there. If I get 18 out of 15 clients by the end of the year, I have something to evaluate there too, right? It's a measurable result. It's not like I just am going to become a coach. I'm going to be a life coach, guys. No, it is very, very specific, measurable results. Again, redesign schools to include EQ. That's like huge work. There's a lot of people working on that. That'll probably take me my whole life. I mean, we're talking about changing institutions. However, this year, relevant, number 1, and this is, again, you'll get a little mind bomb from me very soon. But number 1 is to create $10,000 in revenue in my business this year from schools paying me, not clients, schools, for programs or speeches that I do in 2021. I have no clue. I don't have a program for kids. I don't have a speech that I've written to talk to schools, to educators. I don't have any kind of system for that. But I created an impossible goal to make a certain amount of money from a certain product, person, place, school, district, right, in 2021. That is measurable, y'all. That is on point and on topic to my life mission and something I can do this year. 2, shit, I don't have a program. So I'm going to create a program that I can sell and market to current schools. Again, that's measurable. Create one program. I don't know what that's going to look like, but something that is sellable and marketable to local school districts or to current schools right now. So that already gives me an audience, a focus, a solution, right? Something I can measure. So if I don't create a program, what did I do? What did I not do? And then give 20 speeches at schools throughout the course of the year. Again, using my voice to speak, give speeches at schools, get known, get notarized, make sense in the course of what I'm doing. 20 speaking engagements at schools, 3 measurable things. Again, using my voice for allyship. That's my 3rd objective for my life, for my business. My key results, if I've given 100 speeches this year, I want to join Toastmasters and participate in speaking in 2 speaking competitions. So 2 actual competitions is the measurable result. And I submit for 1 TED Talk sometime throughout the course of the year. Even if I don't get accepted, I apply for 1 TED Talk. That's using my voice for activism and allyship, because those speeches I'm going to gauge around those topics, because those are kind of like more personal to me and gives me the opportunity to curate, cultivate speeches. It's not just for school districts. It's not just on radical self-love. This is where I'm going to talk about anything and everything that I feel passionate about, right? So those are my smaller eyes. And then I can even break that down into, like, let's say this week, we go back to help people through cultivating self-love and the emotion of radical self-love within themselves. And that is my bigger scale objective. And one of the ways that's the key result is if In the year, I create 15 new one-on-one coaching clients that I help do that. Then I can go and break that down into, well, what are the 3 key results this week that I can have? So let's say my objective this week becomes create 1 new coaching client. Because if I do like 1 client per month, let's say, or there will have to be 2 at a certain month, but 1 client per month, and I'm basically reaching my goals by the end of the year, right? So in order to create 1, so that becomes my new objective for just this week. And you see how that still serves my life mission, my bigger purpose, my bigger year-long company goal. So I'm reducing it down, staying on point. And that means that my 1 client this week, the way that I know I'm doing that, I'll have key results. So my goal is for this week, the key results are to meet 20 new people in virtual or live settings, guest spot on 1 podcast, and make 3 marketing posts. So all of those things can lead me to getting that 1 client, and they're all measurable. And that way, even at the end of the week, if I don't create a new client, I can say, hey, maybe I didn't do one of those things. Or maybe one of those things wasn't effective. And maybe I can't find a podcast to guest spot on every single week. So I'm going to have to choose a new way to meet that metric for next week, right? The evaluation process. So how do I do my evaluations, y'all? At the end of the week, I sit down, and this is in your time hack and time management extra masterclass that's in the bonus section. So the way I do my schedule is an even smaller breakdown of goals for the course of the week into tasks that go into my schedule. But the way that I do an evaluation, basically, every week you can do this, quarterly in your business you can do this, definitely once a year. I would say check in even every, like it only takes like a day to do a nice audit of your business if you do it often enough. And this type of audit and pre-planning can save you so much drama on if you're investing in the right things. You'll have your business planned out and the vision will start becoming clearer and clearer. Like now I basically do have my vision for the next 3 years for sure. And it's pretty simple and laid out. Like I know what I'm doing. And that level of certainty is absolutely incredible to believe in yourself this way. So, how do I do my evals? It is so simple. 3 questions. What worked? What didn't work? And what would I do differently? And it's really bringing awareness to yourself with curiosity, with kindness, not judgment, right? So you're just going to ask yourself, you're going to start out with what worked? Because there's always something that worked. When you set these objectives, these key results, there's absolutely always something that you did right. So give yourself some credit. Celebrate you. You're doing it. Even if you just like are like just showed up to set a goal this way, that's still like amazing. Then be nice to yourself and say, hey, what didn't work? Well, I set the goal, but then I really didn't want to do anything about it. And I knew it was something bigger. I could have brought it to my coaching call with Yana, but instead I didn't. Maybe I should get better coaching. I don't know but what didn't work? Actually, y'all have been bringing yourselves to the coaching calls, like heart-centered, heart open, absolutely incredible. So we've been making so much progress in there. I love it. But you're going to look and you're going to say, what didn't work? And be kind to yourself. Be curious. Where could you shift? Maybe it's just like a technical thing. Maybe it's a more invasive thing and it's going to take you a few weeks to shift. That's okay. We have awareness, right? So we can start naturally doing something about it. And last but not least, you're going to ask yourself, what am I naturally, or maybe with a little push, for myself, for my inner motivation, for my big I goal placed North Star, going to do differently? And why, right? Why is that important to me? And then you can actually start to make those shifts. And evals become so easy. It's almost like sometimes I'll now evaluate the day just in my head. I'm like, oh yeah, at the end of the workday, what worked, what didn't work. Okay, cool. Let me adjust that. Like, it's such a beautiful process, and it gives me my power every single time. It gives me my power back. There's nobody that can ever do anything because I can just reevaluate, reset my goals, see what works, what didn't work, bring it on. I got this. So, how are we going to do this? I'm going to share screen with y'all the worksheets that I'll be dropping in the class today. And these are some really fun OKR templates. I was going to create my own for you guys today, but then I found these from Smartsheets and I was like, those are amazing. Why would I do anything differently? So basically, OKR template. You can do this either for yourself or for your company, like I said. So I put at the very top, company name, client name, and then OKR for like, what's the bigger goal, bigger objective? Let's say 2021 in my business, time frame and in frame. And then you're going to put objective 1, objective 2, objective 3, 3 key measurable results. And then as the year goes on, you can pull this sheet and see how you did, evaluate, right? Now, that's a really simple overview. You want to break it down a little more? You can do this for everyone, OKR, every objective that you have. So again, either a company name or yourself. Who's it prepared by? The date. Company mission. What's your company mission? Or I put life vision, right? What are those big impossible goals that you have? What are your aspirations? What outcome do you want to see? From there, from this journaling prompt, from asking yourself, what's the primary purpose of our business or my life? Why does our brand exist? What are our long-term ambitions? How do we hope to accomplish this? How will I define measurable success and measure success? How will we know when we have reached our end goal, right? You can start creating objectives and key results. You see what I'm getting at? And this worksheet is great too, because then you can say, hey, where can I get some more support? What might be my greatest obstacles? And last but not least, if you want to take it even further, company mission, yearly objectives, you can break it down into quarterly objectives, your key results, how are you going to measure them, the tasks that you have to do, top priorities, and then your overview, your current progress, short-term action plans, your evals, right? OKR health overview over here. So your homework is to think of some life objectives, some measurable key results, and to plug them in with some dates and bring that to our group coaching call on Sunday, where we'll go from there. I love y'all. I hope you have a beautiful day. And I will talk to you on Sunday, my loves. Toodaloo.